Hey guys, it's me, Freak, aka that Pokemon Boy, and today I'm bringing you week 7 of the Mauville Magnetons battles for the IEP. And the first match I had in week 7 was against Jet, who's the coach of the Twin Leaf Tickle. Last time against Jet we lost 5-0, so I wanted to redeem myself. This is also the two best teams in each conference going head to head. We were sitting at a record of 11 games, won 9, lost just the 2. Jet was at, I'll have to remember. He was at, played 9, won 7, lost 2 as well. So, we both lost 2 games. And, you know, it was just kind of who could win this one. Now, I'll quickly run you through my team. I had Fortress, because I wanted to play, I wanted to have a lot of hazards on his side of the field. Because Jet likes to switch quite frequently. As you can see, he's got a very good Volt turn core here, and so I knew if I could get hazards on, that would limit the amount he could switch. I then brought a Cleric in the form of Florges. I had Swords Dance, Absol, Mega Absol, because I usually do. I also brought Swords Dance Silent Flame, because I know this has Intimidate, and I was pretty sure he'd bring it, so I thought if I can get a couple of Swords Dances on, predicting I'll switch into this, I can maybe get a sweep going. And I brought safety goggles on this. Now I know this sounds peculiar, but that Venusaur right there, it always has sleep powder, and that's the game Jet likes to play. So I thought, well, if I can bring safety goggles on this, you know, I can take a sleep powder. For the same reason I brought safety goggles on this, I had Overcoat on my Fortress. That way I could get hazards going, rather than being stopped by being put to sleep through the Venusaur. I then brought Recover 3 attacks, Life Orb, Latias, and I had Eviolite Magneton to Magnet Pull, if he decided to bring it, to Magnet Pull his Heatran, which he didn't bring. So let's get started. I open up with Fortress, as he leads with Lando T. He goes for a knockoff, takes off my lefties. Good move on his part, it means I don't have as much recovery, but I get rocked up straight away. He then goes into Nudo King, as I decide to set up a layer of spikes here. Now, here, the obvious play for him here is go for Flamethrower. Jet's a very good player, and I know he knows that my play here is to go into Latias. 2 reasons. 1, if he goes for the Earth Power on this, Latias is immune to that. 2, if he goes for the Flamethrower here, Latias will resist that. Knowing that, I thought he'll go for Ice Beam, because he knows I should bring in Latias. And thinking that he'd go for Ice Beam, I decided to bring in my Magneton, knowing I could take an Ice Beam. What happens? He Flamethrowers, kills me. I was disappointed with that, because I should have done better there. I basically over-predicted. I go into Absol, and he Sludge Waves, kills me. I thought I'd live, and I didn't, so it's not looking good here, and I decide, right, I need to go on the offensive. I go into Latias, click Surf, get him out of the way, and he brings in Pangoro. Now, I know this might be AP Pangoro because he had it last time. That's why I go into Fortress, as he goes for the knockoff, fine by me. He goes for the Drain Punch, and I could have gone into Florges there, but I didn't want to risk in case he had the Gunk Shot or the Poison Jab. He goes into Landorus T. I went for spikes on his Pangoro. I get every single hazard I have now onto his side of the field, which is really good for me. Because apart from the Landorus, everything's affected by the spikes as well. I go into Florges, and he makes a good play. As he U-turns out, he gets rocks up, then he U-turns out. He brings in Pangoro, and I went for a Wish here. I decide to go into my Fortress, because that's what I was trying to pass a Wish off to. He reveals the Gunk Shot, fine by me, because I get up 51%. My Fortress is at good health again, as he goes for a Drain Punch. I Rapid Spin away, I Gyro Ball here, looking to get some damage off, as he Drain Punches, and I believe I Rapid Spin here. Yes, that's because I want to keep Talonflame fresh for when it comes in. I don't want it to take any entry hazards of damage. I bring in Florges, as he sticks with the Drain Punches, and here I thought, well, I should be able to outspeed. So what I do is I risk a Moonblast and I kill him. In comes Slaking, and I know this thing has Retaliate, so I just sack Florges here because I don't really need it anymore. And I go in for Talonflame. Now I know he has Truant, so I thought he'll go into Lando T. Exactly what happens. He Swords Dances, I Swords Dance as he brings the Landorus T in, and I go for a Brave Bird. That is brilliant damage. Problem being, he knocks me off. That's huge. Because now, basically, I won't do as much, if that makes sense. Because my Talonflame's only got that much recoil it can burn out. So, you know, and on top of that, he lives on 2 here. So he gets to kill my Talonflame. If I had taken his Lando down then, it would have just put me in a bad position. But regardless of that, I bring in Latias, I click Psychic, as he brings in Slaking, and I go for Fortress. Retaliate kills Fortress, but that's fine because here I'm guaranteed a kill. I'll explain why, because if I go for Psychic, I kill his Slaking. If he wants to switch Slaking out, which is what he does here, next time Slaking comes in, it dies to hazards. I Psychic on the Venusaur. Take 10. Like I said, this thing dies to hazards. And it's basically his Raikou, who now takes hazards for the first time, versus my Latias. Basically, whoever kills here wins. I knew he'd move first. And okay, so I'm going to explain what happens. Psychic here has a chance to kill. I honestly regret not putting Side Shock on, but the point is, Psychic here has a chance to kill. Draco kills for sure if it hits. Problem was, I felt as if Draco would miss. I don't know, I just had a feeling Draco was going to miss. And I would rather leave it to a roll than leave it to a miss. Because the miss, well, let me just explain what happens. HP Ice doesn't kill me, I go for a Psychic, he lives on 5. I take Life or Recall, he HP Ices and wins. But, yeah. This is a personal thing now, is I'd rather lose on a roll than lose because Draco missed. And I know, I should have probably clicked Draco, and the truth is, I did click Draco. What happened was, I went for Psychic, I thought about it, and I clicked Cancel, clicked Draco, it didn't go through. So that's irrelevant, because it's only on Showdown do you get a second chance. If this was a Wi-Fi level, I wouldn't even get a second chance, so, I'm going to stick to my guns and say, yeah, I did Psychic. But, yeah, because the miss was a smaller chance, so I felt to myself, I'd rather lose this on a roll, which was a greater chance, rather than lose on only the 10% chance to miss. I know it sounds stupid, but that's the way it is. So yeah, that was a 1-0 loss. Oh, that went too quickly. Right, let's try that again. No, that's not working. Okay, here we go. Right, so the next battle I had was against Connor and his Pewter Pin Missiles, who are actually on the near screen here. Having just played the game against Chet, I think the day before, I wanted to win. And it was important that I won. Because if I now lost this, it might put my playoff spot in jeopardy. So, I wanted to bring everything. This looks, on the just like at first glance, this looks like the same team I played against Jet, but it's not. It's quite different. For a start, this Latias, it is recover a life orb through attacks, but it's carrying Ice Beam, it's carrying Psy Shock, and it's still carrying Draco Meter, basically. This is sturdy. This is sturdy, rapid spin, physical defense, and fortress. Instead of spikes, it's got toxic spikes now. The reason I didn't bring toxic spikes against Jet is because he's got 2 Pokemon he uses regularly that are poison type, so it made more sense to go for spikes. This is still the cleric, Fortress. This is the Violite, still a Violite, Magneton, Choice Band, Time Flame, and then Sword Stance, Absol. One thing I'll say, recently Connor had started to use physically defensive Gramble, and it was working so well for him. Again, in one of his battles the week earlier, he pretty much won in the game, so I knew how good this thing was, and I knew he'd want to bring it. Because of that, I calced before the game, and I said, I was hoping Absol learned Iron Head, but it didn't. It learned Iron Tail. I checked, and yeah, Iron Tail wouldn't completely kill him, but at +1 I could kill him, so that was fine. He leads with Schmigel, as I lead with Talonflame. I decided to just go for the Brave Bird here. If he wants to bring in Gramble, that's fine by me. He goes for the Dark Void, as you will now see, and he misses, unfortunately for him. He endures. I'm not sure why, I'm not sure why. I go for the Brave Bird. Nothing really happens that turn, it's effectively like a Protect. This time he does go into Gramble. Because I'm Choice Band, I stay in on the Brave Bird. I mean, that does a good amount of damage. Problem is, Talonflame's now at just under 50%. I go into Magneton, knowing I could take his hit. He goes for the Thunder Wave. That was the thing. I could have gone into something like Fortress, but the only thing that could grant me immunity, well, this Gramble is either Toxic or Thunder Wave, or it would play Rough. That's his 3 options. This was the only Pokemon I had that could take all 3 of those options, so I went for it. He brings in the Garchomp, as I went for a Volt Switch. I could have predicted that, but I didn't see the need to predict that. I decided to go into Fortress. He went for Dragon Claw. Great play. Honestly, credit to Connor, because, you know, he said, right, he thinks I'm going to Earthquake here, he'll probably go into Latias, and so I'll Dragon Claw. So that was the right play to make. Luckily, I had something that could take both of those. He switches out, which to me means he might be Scarfed, as he goes into Dusclops. I Gyro Ball, which in hindsight was not a good play. He Nightshades me. I get up Stealth Rocks. We joke a bit about the crit, which isn't part of the battle, but yeah. I get T-Spikes up, and I'm fine for Fortress to kind of get whittled down. Here I go into Absol, as he goes for a Nightshade. I think he said that, you know, he tried to go for a Will-O-Wisp, but cancelled. Well, he cancelled and tried to go for Will-O-Wisp, but didn't go through in time. So I feel sorry for Connor because of that, because, you know, yeah, it happens sometimes. But in the end, he went for Protect. I was lucky and I went for the Sword Stance. I go for Knockoff because if the way I saw it here, he could bring in Gramble to take in the Dark type attack, but he comes in the rocks, he comes in with the T-Spikes. Knockoff will do enough to where I don't then have to risk an Iron Tail miss. But in the end, I get rid of the Dusclops, he brings in Espeon, and this was risky here, because 2 things can happen, the way I saw it. If this is Scarfed Espeon, which it could be, and which he has ran, then I should Sucker Punch. Or, what if he's Carmine Espeon, he knows I'm going to Sucker Punch, and he goes for the, and he goes for the Carmine. The way I saw it here is, if he's Carmine Espeon, that's fine for me, because he can set up Carmine, I'll Sucker Punch will fail, but now that I know he's Carmine, he can't outspeed me, so I can just go for a knockoff and I'll kill him. That's why I went for the safe play here. And the safe play was Sucker Punch. And it just so happens he kills. Finally, it goes into Gramble, and it's the moment of truth. 61, I knew Iron Tail would kill. And it does. Thankfully, it hit. They had 75% chance to hit, so, you know, not too bad. He goes in with Pinsir. Mega Evolves. I go for the Sucker Punch, kill him. As he goes into Garchomp. And I switch out into Fortress. as he goes for the Dragon Claw. I did that because I wanted to see what he was going to scarf himself into. He pulls out into Schmiggle. He makes a great play there. Because, you know, this way he can knock himself into something else. Sack the Schmiggle. As I went for the Florges, I could take the Dragon Claw. And I feel for him here, because with these 6 Pokemon staring him down, he pretty much knows he's not going to win. I don't mean that in a mean way. Sorry, Connor, if it comes across like that. Basically, by this, what I mean is, he's Choice Scarf, so if he goes for Dragon Claw to try and take this out, and this out, then Florges is immune. If he goes for Earthquake to try and take out Florges and the Magneton, then these 2 are immune. So, you know, I went for the Protect just to see what he's going to go for. There he reveals he is Scarfed. Take a bit of poison. So I know he's Earthquake, which means I can safely go into my Latias. He will take the Earthquake. I could have taken the Earthquake and killed with Florges, but I want to kill with this. Again, he Earthquakes, drop a Draco, and I win. 6-0. Which, yeah, I got lucky in a couple of things that the cancel button didn't work for him. And I feel sorry for him. But, yeah. With this win, we now have 10 wins in the whole season. And that brings us up to 13 games. Played 13, won 10, lost 3, including the one we had to jet. Next week's battles will be obviously next week. They're against. I've got Amir, who is the coach of the Bastoria Pure Power, and I've got Ollie, who coaches the Snow Point Shadow Force, and I've got to play him twice actually. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now, and I'm still working on a better way to finish my videos.